Welcome to the 1U shed. So 1U means one unit because this is a modular shed. Should we step inside? Now when I say inside, I just mean within the 4 posts, where the 4 posts are going. So I'm trying to attach or just position the 3rd post. The 4th one actually goes in that hole there. Is that a hole? No, that's my shadow. That's a hole, and that's not on there yet, but I am having a few problems. Let's come over here and see if you can see. It's fairly clear to me that the post at the back, I'll move out of the way, is not in square with the front 2 posts, and track along here, I think it's kicked out that way a little too much. And the reason for this is, and I can't use the viewfinder, down in that hole there's a tree root, and the tree root is in my way, and I've been trying to saw it with my reciprocating saw, and I'm just seeing sparks and it's taking all the teeth off. So that's not working at the moment. A few problems, but then you'd expect problems, wouldn't you? A shed build wouldn't be a shed build without problems. Now you may have noticed down here I've actually abandoned my decking timber idea, and I've gone for a nice bit of 2x5, it is 2x5 undersize, and I've hung it on a hanger from the post. Would you like to see my nail plate sandwich? Actually, I don't think I can use that phrase. I think I'm going to have to call it a joist sandwich, even though it's not. It's a nail plate sandwich. Well, nearly walked into my rather good Ferrex miter saw stand. So it's a pair of 28mm thick by 140 wide decking timbers. You can see at the bottom of the joist there the concrete, which is starting to set really well. Now it's a sandwich because between the 2, if you can see in that gap, is the nail plate. And this was John Nodge. John Nodge kind of nudged me into thinking maybe the decking timber and the nail plate idea wasn't really very sensible down here, at least for the floor. So yes, I'm just going to go for a regular joist. There'll be cross joists coming off here, and then some sort of floor. That might still be decking timber, but don't worry, the nail plate idea has not gone away. I'm simply going to move it to the top, so the roof is going to be connected using timbers, possibly decking, I don't know yet. And the nail plates, I think it'll work perfectly up there, and it's proved itself to be very strong. So that's where that's going to go. This is going to be more conventional. So I'm going to have to battle on with the root that's in that hole to try and square this thing up. At some point I'm going to measure the hypotenuse, the diagonal distance, to make sure that I've got this square before I commit and pour concrete in the holes. But yes, this is where I've got so far, so we'll do a walk round so you can see it from all angles, and I plough on. Hello modular shed fans. So the modular shed is now in a position where it has 4 posts. The front 2 are concreted in, the rear 2 are not, but I think they're standing pretty plumb because I've got deck boards, which are really just spacer boards, both at the bottom and near the top, to hold the whole thing in square. And yes, putting those in and pulling them together has squared this thing up, and it now seems that all the posts are plumb and the whole thing is in square. I did a hypotenuse check to make sure the 2 diagonals are correct, and I think we're now ready to concrete in those rear two posts. The hole with the tree root did get rather large. So yeah, that one's rather large. That's going to take quite a bit of concrete to fill. This one's much more compact. That one should be quite a bit easier. A little more information on why I decided to go for this 2x5 joist hanging from that joist hanger. You can see over there, there is another one there. No viewfinder on that shot, hope it came out. Yes, as I say, John Nodge was saying, why don't you just go for a conventional joist based floor? And after I thought about it for a while, it made sense. And the issue really is joist hangers. You can't get joist hangers which are 28mm wide, and deck boards are 28mm wide when used upright as joists. So you can see that that joist hanger over there is a 50mm, and this I think is 47mm, so it's a reasonable fit. When I used deck boards as joists, I had to refashion 38mm hangers and bend them to 28mm, and that's just a pain. For my storage shed, my new shed, I built the deck, the base, and it is a similar design. It's got the 4-inch or 100mm fence posts, decking timbers as joists. Now you can see there's one here on the outside, but there's also one on the other side of the post, so there's a double joist there. If I go to the middle, there are 2 joists there either side of the central post, and at the end there are 2 more joists, that's 6. But there's also a center joist. I'm sure you can see those 2 screws there. Let's see if I can get those. But that joist, of course, isn't attached to a post, so it's hanging, and that's hanging on a hanger. That hanger had to be refashioned from one that was too wide, straightened in a vise, bent round the shape of the joist. And it's this problem of not having joist hangers that fit decking timber when used as a joist, which makes it really rather impractical. And there are going to be a lot of joists on the modular shed, so it's going to be regular sized timbers, which appear to be 50. You can get joist hangers in 50mm and 38mm. The other thing which I did yesterday was cut the hedge back behind the rear panel. When the rear panel goes in there, there isn't really enough room to get in there to keep that trimmed. There won't be any light on this side of the hedge, so I'm not quite sure how fast or how well that'll grow. I certainly intend, once the floor is in, the cross joists are on, to put a ladder on there and trim the top of the hedge down so that it's a lower height, because I want a big overhang on the roof. I learnt my lesson with this shed, which, let's have a look, the front edge of the roof doesn't have any overhang over the door. The side has a very small overhang, but water gets in there somehow, and so with the modular shed I want a big overhang, 8 inches, maybe even 12, so I think the roof is going to overhang the hedge somewhat. But this first module of the modular shed I think is ready now to have the rear 2 posts concreted in. That gives me the 4 posts of my first module. Now I am thinking that I'm going to have eventually 6 of these modules, another one to that side, and then 2 further modules all sitting alongside the hedge, and then 2 modules coming out centered on the 4 that run along the hedge. So there'll be a 6 module shed in total. This module, it's either going to be the storeroom, it's going to be one of the wings, this is the west wing, it's either going to be a storeroom or it's going to be my crypto mining heat room stroke sauna. Haven't decided yet, but that's progress so far. Bye bye.